One of the things that I like to take advantage of when putting together my clothing system for the winter time, but also especially right now for this fall transitional time, is to take advantage of technology, right? Technical apparel, not necessarily just trying to lump on a bunch of stuff. If you're in a fishing kayak and you're trying to wear dry technical apparel over the top of bulky, non-technical apparel, it kind of defeats the purpose. So I personally use a combination of the stuff from NRS and the stuff from Columbia. And one of the things I really like to do is layer, right? And you'll hear that beat in your head over and over again by anybody that talks about technical apparel. But what you get with something like this is basically a base layer from Columbia that is infused with the Omni heat technology. So what it basically works is, as you can see on the tag right here, it says make your own heat. The way it works is when you put a shirt on like this titanium inside the fabric reflects your own body heat back to you. So that Omni heat concept still allows you to vent, but in your major core areas, that contact, actually here's a good way to do this. Let me turn this thing inside out and kind of show you how it works. You're not going to have a lot of bulk in your arms. You're not going to have a lot of bulk in your groin area when you wear the base layer type pants for this. But what you end up with is a good articulated cut. Still has the armpits for being active that don't have that material in it, so some heat can escape. What this does is it keeps you warm, reflects your body heat back to your core, but it also, if you tend to overheat, it allows some of that heat to escape, from your groin and your armpit, so that you basically don't, die from heat exhaustion while trying to stay warm. And so that concept right there works really well. So a good 1-2 punch for me is to wear a technical base layer like this. And what's cool about shirts like this is they're so easy to wash. You don't have to buy 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of them. You don't have to buy 2. You really can get away with taking a shirt like this, throw it on, and then when you're done using it, you can wash it in the sink, wring it out, hang it up in your tent, hang it up in your cabin, hang it up at your campsite, throw it on a hanger in the back seat of your truck, and it still dries out pretty quick because it's lightweight. So it's lightweight, not a lot of bulk. And when you get into the really cold time, you simply add I like fleece, man. Fleece is one of the best materials out there. So you take this low bulk, it's not real thick. It's not a real, over bulky, like a hoodie would be. Hoodies are really more for recreation, for fashion, for, you're walking around, staying warm, standing by a campfire, driving around in your truck apparel. This is not something you're going to want to wear underneath your technical apparel when you're out on the water. So for me, I really like a really nice fleece. And this system, this jacket right here works with another parka jacket that I have for duck hunting, but it's one of the pieces that I throw into my arsenal. So on a day like today, I'll start off with this as a base layer, throw that fleece on, put my NRS dry shell over the top of that with my bibs on. This is underneath the bibs, this is on top of the bibs. If I get warm as the day warms up, I can take my dry top off, pop this fleece out, throw it in a dry bag, throw it inside the kayak. I still got this shirt on. It acts like a rash guard. It acts like a really good base layer. So again, depending on whether I want just wicking and it's not cold enough, or if it's so cold that I want to get some of that thermal reflection of my body heat back to me, then I'll opt for something in the Omni Heat line. So again, I have a system. It works pretty well for me. You're gonna have to dial it in a bit for yourself, but I'm gonna get dressed. I'm gonna get my stuff on. So it's a brisk fall day today. I'm gonna opt out of the jacket today because I know that yesterday by halfway through the day I was already roasting. And again, I just want to talk you through all the options, because when you buy these pieces, they can all be used individually. They work great as a system, and you don't have to spend a bunch of money on 5 or 6 different outer shell type setups. So let me get dressed and then I'll walk you through the setup. All right guys, so pretty much what I decided to do is to just go with an Omni Shield wicking style shirt, because it's warming up pretty quick, and it's definitely going to warm up a little bit later today. If I was going to go more semi-dry, if it was super cold, if I was worried about immersion, if I was fishing rougher water, I would obviously be fishing a paddle top that's got this gasket style waist. And if you can't afford to go with both tops, then definitely go this way, because you'd rather have the extra protection when you don't need it than need it and don't have it. So today what I'm doing is I'm just going to go with a paddling top, right? So the way that this works is I'm not gonna put the paddling top into the gusset, so I'm gonna lift this up kind of high, and then I'm just gonna cinch it down. What that does, that kind of keeps the air out of the out of the waders. And then what I like to do is open the relief zipper. And if you don't think the relief zipper is worth the money, all I can tell you is there's been days that I would have paid the price of the waders again on the spot to have a relief zipper in whatever I was wearing that day. So one of the things you're going to want to do when you're putting this apparel on right is you have to get the air out of the legs. If you don't get the air out of the legs and you happen to flip your kayak over in cold water, which is one of the reasons that I'm not a hardcore advocate of dry suits for people that aren't going to take the time to learn how to wear them properly, is if you flipped over, the air volume in your legs, especially if you're a taller guy like me, is going to overcome the buoyancy of the PFD. What will end up happening is if you jump in the water, all that air goes to your legs because your body went in first. Now your legs are filled up with air, all that air is forced to the top, and you're basically going to paddle around underwater trying to get your head up, and you're going to be a bobber. So you have to wear this gear correctly. When you wear a regular dry suit, you open up the neck gasket, you bend at the waist, and you force all the air out and you work it up. With the relief zipper, you basically leave your relief zipper open, you work that air up kind of into the crotch region. You can even squat down and purge the air. What I like to do is leave this relief zipper open while I'm getting my gear ready, and a lot of the air will work itself out. When I sit down, I keep it open, get all that air up out of my dry suit, and then I close it back up before I head out on the water. So it's a great way to vent. Again, what I'm wearing today, because it's only 60 degrees and 60-degree water temperature. So technically, I'm a little bit over the rule of 120. If I had launched early this morning, when it was in its 40s, I would have definitely been, a hardcore advocate of having this on. So you can manage your trip, you can manage your gear, you can manage your time, but there's a couple ways you can do this. You can actually take the gusset and you can tuck your splash top into it, and it's going to give you a bit of that layering. A bit of that airlock, right? Water's still going to come up over the top and go down inside there. What I like to do is just put my paddling top on, throw the PFD on over the top of that, and then you want your PFD to fit really snug. Now, as a big dude, I am guilty of not wearing my PFD tight enough on summer days, but I'm also a former rescue swimmer, and I know if I end up in the water, I can adjust my PFD then. But when you're wearing this type of setup, you really want to get everything nice and set up, and you want to snug your PFD down, because you want your PFD to act as that combining layer, to where your top layer and your waders underneath act as a semi-dry suit. So again, this is my system for heading out in the fall. I'll talk to you about some of the pieces that I add in the interchangeability. Definitely, if you're below that rule of 120, air temperature and water temperature don't add up to 120. You're going to want to go with the gusseted jacket. You're going to want to have that moisture barrier, that lock together to keep water from getting in. If you end up in the water, it'll definitely prolong your longevity and your survivability. And then something else you want to do is make sure that if you are below that rule of 120, you do have a base layer on. Just because you have a dry suit on doesn't keep your body from being sapped of body heat, which is going to make you hypothermic. If you're in the water and all you have on is a thin dry suit material, and you don't have some type of fleece or neoprene layer to warm up that sweat or that body layer, or you don't have that fleece bulk there, then you're definitely going to succumb to the elements pretty quickly. So again, it's going to get really warm today, so I'm just wearing my lightweight wicking pants, my lightweight wicking shirt, paddling top, and then my NRS Sidewinder bibs. It's going to pretty much do me for this type of condition. But again, that's my system, guys. That's it. Smash that thumbs up button if you like this video. Do me a favor, leave me a comment below, tell me what you think about the content. I know that there's going to be some people out there that are going to be hardcore, about the dry suit, and I get it. The point I'm trying to do here is, it's a lot like, saying abstinence is the only solution for teenage pregnancy, and then teenage pregnancy is rampant. There is the thing that is 100% going to work. But if people aren't going to do it, then it doesn't make sense. And most people can't afford a dry suit. This is the best insurance policy that you can get. This is something that you can use for different seasons. and you're investing in something that you can use pretty much year round. This dry top by itself is a great raincoat, right? These waders by themselves are great for wading and other types of fishing that I do. So think about it as a system, think about it as an insurance policy, invest in yourself, invest in your safety, and I'll see y'all next time on Kayak Bass Fishing.